All right, if you don't mind, we can start. Greetings from Armenia. Hello, hello. So welcome to our next series, next webinar series of TEFL trainings and TEFL webinars. Since January this year, we're starting, and this is another webinar which is devoted to success in IELTS certification. This webinar will be about IELTS training, and mostly for IELTS teachers, of course, or those who want to become IELTS teachers. Why IELTS? Because IELTS is one of the most widely recognized English proficiency tests globally, required for study, for migration, as you know, and work in many English-speaking countries. As more and more students every year want to succeed, to achieve their highest scores in IELTS, the demand of qualified IELTS preparation teachers continues to grow, as you know. So I'd like to start with a question. How many of you have ever had a student ask, "Can you prepare me for IELTS?" You can chat, you can drop a message in the chat. Did you ever had a student who came to you to ask you to prepare them for IELTS in a very short time? And of course, most English teachers would answer or will have a question. Okay, I will start. I will make a course for you, but where should I start with? Where do I ever begin? Should I teach grammar? Should I teach vocabulary? Maybe writing? Maybe a lot of practice tests? So today I'd like to show you what successful IELTS teachers do differently. To be short, I want to introduce myself. I'm Monica Topchian, and I've been teaching English for many years. I've been training teachers and working with international teacher education programs. And one thing I've realized while teaching, when I started teaching IELTS, of course, after teaching for many years general English, some academic English, and then I realized being an excellent teacher, an excellent English teacher, doesn't automatically make someone an effective IELTS teacher. IELTS requires a completely different mindset. So what is in fact IELTS? We can look at the next slide.
Yeah.
So, can you please in the chat share your opinions, your maybe thoughts about IELTS and why IELTS is different from general or academic English teaching? I can read the chat and share your thoughts. Just a quick answer, how it is different. Or maybe you can speak up if somebody wants to answer this question, feel free. Okay, I'm waiting for some message here. Okay, yes, right. It has special structure. Okay. All right. What else? Which other differences you can mention? Okay. Besides being differently structured, what else we can mention here for IELTS? Is it really different from teaching a general English or academic English? Vocabulary. You mean vocabulary is different? Anything else? Specific strategies of question types. Yes, exactly. It has many, opportunities. Yeah, it gives you many opportunities to travel, to study in different countries. But besides that, when we as a teacher start thinking, okay, I will start teaching IELTS, will it be completely different from whatever we did teaching general or academic English? In fact, thank you very much for your thoughts. In fact, IELTS measures, but first of all, IELTS is International English Language Testing System, right? So this abbreviation stands for it. It measures, it tests. What it measures, how well students perform under very specific exam conditions. So this is not just a language we're teaching or a language we are testing. Let me give you examples. 2 students have B2 level English. one gets band 6 in IELTS, the other one gets band 7.5. Why? Can you name the reasons? One or two reasons why two same level students could get different scores. Different teaching techniques. Yes, I'm reading the chat. It needs more techniques. Okay, thank you very much. Now the question, why two same level students will get different scores? Is it because one speaks better English than the other? Going to become. Okay, so let's discuss the biggest mistakes teachers make, right? So when they immediately start teaching IELTS, one of the biggest mistakes that they do not consider whether they need to teach general IELTS or academic IELTS, because we have both. We have a little bit different modes of IELTS as a test. Also, I know that some teachers, IELTS teachers, start with practicing a lot of tests. Maybe you can just, I don't know, name, or you are some teachers right now. It's not a big shame. You know, you could start with practicing, and you could ask your student or have them do a lot of tests, because if they familiarize with the tests, so they will succeed. But this is a mistake. This is not a good strategy to give them endless tests. Another mistake I will mention, okay. Another mistake I will mention, this is grammar mistakes that the teachers correct every time. You would say, what to do with grammar mistakes? Shouldn't we correct every mistake the student makes? Of course, no, not every mistake. With some skills, they will be taught how to work and how to avoid the mistakes. They will succeed even better. And another mistake I will mention would be that we do not consider, or we do not analyze band descriptors sometimes. How many of you start the course of teaching IELTS with analyzing with your student band descriptors? Do you ever read with them? Do you ever compare why this is 6 and the another one is 7, and how to you know, push your score from 6 to 8 in writing and speaking? And of course, reading and writing, reading and listening, we have other criteria, but for writing and speaking, we have specific rubrics. So this shouldn't be ignored. It's another mistake I would pay your attention to. So we can go now to the slide where we see successful IELTS teachers. What I personally do when my students write something, or when they speak about something, I always give them feedback. Feedback is crucial for IELTS training, because they will need to know how to improve their band scores, right? So they know that under 6.5, they covered specific criteria in terms of lexical resource, in terms of grammar range, in writing and speaking, in terms of, all right, thank you, in terms of task achievement, and so on. So when you do not explain how they managed to do, but you explained why they managed to do only 6, but not 6.5, and what to do, which strategy to use to achieve 7, for example, the desired score in different sections and overall band, of course. Okay, Adriana, can we go to the slide, to the 6th slide?
Number 6.
So number 6, please. So what IELTS has in it, we're not going to go into much detail about the sections of IELTS. I hope most of you know that this is of 4 core skills we're testing, and different types of questions, as you said, should be considered while teaching IELTS. So what successful IELTS teachers usually do to make their courses, first of all, not endless. It should be covered in 3 months. If your student is B2 level already, or it might be B1 high and B2 low, with some specific, individual design of a course, your students will succeed in 3 months. If it is endless 1 year IELTS preparation, so this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. So what we usually do is, first of all, as you see on the screen, it might be some steps you follow. These are not full steps, but some core things I would like to mention. So first of all, I would diagnose before teaching. I would know, even though my student comes to me with some level, I don't know, with some certificate already of level, I would probably have my own needs analysis. So successful teachers usually know which material they are working with, and only then create successful, path to achievement. Then we need to understand assessment criteria. Before planning the course, before even giving some sense to my student, I would, together with him, understand the rubrics of IELTS and the rubrics of writing and rubrics of speaking. So together we create a plan, how much he can or she can devote to IELTS training, and how successful he would see himself in 3 months, for example. And only then, because students, not only students, people, I guess, need to know, the goal they go to. If they don't go, they just see you as a teacher, as a trainer. And most often, they would blame you as a teacher at the end of the course if they do not get their desired score. Yeah, right now you start your program with him and engage him as the main character, the main player in this, scenario. Next, what I would continue with him, of course, after designing some maybe course, after completing with him the main goal, the main score, the high score he wants to achieve, I would think of how to teach the student exam thinking. Do you know what exam thinking is? Many students do not even realize, do not even imagine how exam would be. They have never been into any condition of exam, especially with computers. So I would, again, devote some maybe 40-minute class to this to teach how usually you need to perform during the exams, okay? And also I would, every lesson, provide structured feedback. If it is a speaking class, I would give him structured. So for task achievement, you did this, and you need to improve your understanding of the question this way. So the student reads your feedback and understands, okay, I will need to work on my understanding of the question, or elaborating my answer, or giving examples in my answer. Just giving them the score. Okay, you spoke and this is 6, go home. It's not a good idea. So you need to provide them with feedback every task you gave. And of course, any successful teacher, IELTS trainer, should track the progress. Probably every I would say module, let's say if it is module of 8 lessons, so every 8 lesson, give them a mock test to track the progress. Before they did reading tasks, for example, at score 5, and now in 8 lessons, they do the reading already 8.5, 5.5, not 8.5, 5.5, and it would be a progress. So you track together with him. If you look at those steps and much more, each of these points could easily become, a 2-hour workshop on its own. So we will just look at this 2-hour workshop during our IELTS preparation course, and you will have the sense of creating or designing a course, individual course for every student you have. So I'd like to introduce one practical example here. If we go to the next slide, as I've prepared writing to practice with you a little bit, because writing, I guess everyone struggles with writing, and how to teach writing and how to learn writing. Before we go to analyzing, before we go to the writing task 2, to the essay question to discuss together, we have some steps to cover, but I will cover only the first 2 steps. We will not have so much time to discuss writing task 2, as this is the essay, you know, and usually the essay is of some task you have, some issue that you need to, as a learner, as a student, you need to cover in 4 or 5 paragraphs. So what we need to teach a student is first step analyzing the question. So we'll need to understand what type of question it is, what the topic contains in it. Do I need to express my opinion? Does it require it or not? So this would go to the very first step to discuss with your student before going to the structure, or maybe teaching some vocabulary or whatever you need to teach for writing. And another step is generating the ideas. So next slide shows step 2, and we will quickly go to next steps and only then practice briefly. So next we will need to brainstorm or generate the ideas. You will need to ask a lot of questions to your students. What exactly they know about the topic? They will need to just give a lot of ideas to choose from. As we discussed, the students might lose their main points because of task achievement ignorance, because they avoid some structures and some points from criteria, from writing assessment criteria. And for this, of course, the ideas and the question type is important. So the steps we'll need to go through, the remaining stages on these slides, we will leave for other, workshops, or maybe for certification program, because all these paragraph development, coherence, vocabulary upgrading, and giving feedback, they're all what we cover in depth during our IELTS preparation course with iTTi. Some people, I'm typing and saying at the same time, some people believe that the zoos are harmful for animals and should be shut down. Others think they are for, they protect animals and are beneficial for society. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. Okay, so sending. Look at this sample. This is just a sample of IELTS task 2. So now, please, as I said, we have some steps to start teaching IELTS writing. So the first step is to analyze the question. How should we analyze the question? Adriana, will you go please to slide step 1? This is 11, I guess, or 10. I can't see it. Step 1, so that people see what step 1 considers. Yeah, this is it. So we first analyze the question. So we'll need to go through the task type. What type of a task is it? You can say, feel free if you want to speak, or you drop a message in our chat box. When I say type of a task, we consider type of an essay. Opinion required, correct. But is it opinion essay? We have 5 types, not thoroughly. Yes, we have 5 types of essays we write in IELTS. Opinion essay, advantage, disadvantage, for and against. You can even consider it advantage, disadvantage. Discussion questions or discussion essay. Okay, so admitting. Yeah, discussing both views. So we analyze the type of a task, giving them that this is opinion-based, but discuss both sides. That means that both arguments should be given in 2 paragraphs. All right. Then we need to find some instruction words. Can you find, oh, this is it. Some people believe on universities. This is the example question on the slide, by the way. Okay. So can you please go to the screen task? You see this task, example question on the screen. And give me the instruction words. Name instruction words that you see in the topic. Teachers who teach IELTS or who know something about IELTS. Topic, education. Correct. Topic is education on the slide, and the other one I sent, it's animals, right? Okay, so instruction words are that, okay, university, academic, practical skills. All right. And what is the instruction word here? Exactly, this is discuss both views. So when we consider instruction words and keywords, sometimes it's a confusion. Students should know that there is some keywords. There are some keywords they need to pay attention to understand the main things they need to cover during writing. And there is instruction word, which is discuss both views and give your opinion. Somebody is typing here. Thank you very much. So when we consider this, only then we go to brainstorming the ideas. Now give me, please, as you have both sides, which ideas you have about universities in this task. Now let's share your ideas about universities, academic subjects, and non-academic subjects maybe you have. Or some practical skills universities should teach, or focus only on academic subjects. So which ideas do you have about it? Okay, both are important, but in the 21st century, we mostly need practical skills. Okay, so this is the opinion your student might share with you, and you need to navigate them. That opinion is required, but both sides should be considered too. I think both academic and practical. Okay, academic and practical, good. Okay, so when you brainstorm with your students, you make notes and you teach your students to make notes about their ideas. And only then we go to next steps to structure, to give them a structure. Okay, and only then we go to other steps we should cover, but not now. Now we'll go to the next slides. Good. The remaining stages we will cover during our program, IELTS teaching program, and we'll go to now modern IELTS teaching, which I want to cover with some digital tools. If we find the slide, Adriana, please, if you go down and find after 14, I guess, when we finish with the steps. As modern IELTS teaching is most of, yeah, okay, it's a beginning. All right, classroom strategies. Okay, so we can stop here on this slide. As you know, IELTS test is already no longer paper-based, and we have only computerized. And for this, modern teachers need to consider, of course, digital tools your students should also know. Teaching IELTS with digital tools involves using computer-based practice platforms, which I would recommend to use. Not only to your students, but yours as well, because you might need some platform to assess your students' work, especially IELTS writing and speaking. Also, it can be some interactive apps to simulate real exam environments. For example, I use IELTS familiarization tests, IDP, IELTS Innovate. So different links, if you want, we can share at the end of this presentation. Grammarly, I use Grammarly, and I recommend my students using it because it can enhance their grammar knowledge while writing. It teaches, by the way, yeah, they use it, they have some explanation there. The simulators of IELTS test also have the explanation mode. So you assign, imagine, yeah, you taught them some skills, reading skills, let's say, a couple of them, maybe 3 types of questions, and then you send them simulators to practice at home. At home, when they do the tasks and they found some mistakes in reading tasks, they can click on the explanation mode, and they can read how the platform explains the type of a question and the mistake, and how they could find the right answer in the text. So this is very useful for them to learn how to learn, in fact, because they would endlessly come to you and ask you for feedback, for explanation, for multiple times. This is not good for modern teachers. As I said, band descriptors also can be useful thing, but also we use, when we have students, we have groups of students, we use peer assessment with rubrics. I used to have the same practice in the past, and I'm doing today too, when they together discover the rubrics of assessment, and they assess their peer writings. So students exchange their writings and start assessing each other. This way they learn how it should be assessed when they are doing the same thing. It can be for speaking as well. Vocabulary apps. Also, I want to mention the apps. Quizlet might be, a very useful one, which we share with our students to practice with flashcards, with definitions of academic vocabulary, with different tools you can use. Okay. Do you ever use some AI assistants or AI tools for your feedback, for your assessing? You can share now your experience. I didn't mention a lot, but mostly I personally use Claude. I use, of course, ChatGPT with some, Pro, only for writing assessment. Yes, for writing, for speaking assessment, we can also use, because this way we know the trends, modern trends, and we can collect everything together in one platform and share it with our students. It's no longer, something to be afraid of. If we are teaching English, AI would be there too. So today's students, I would conclude for, classroom strategies that actually work. Today's students expect much more than worksheets. Only books, only worksheets won't work anymore. They expect personalized feedback. They expect digital support and efficient learning. So we need new tools. We need new tools. So common mistakes on my slides about learning, about reading, listening, writing, and speaking, we can avoid right now because it's for another workshop as well. We're running out of time. And as for becoming an IELTS specialist, I would just tell you, please go ahead with the slide. If you, as an English specialist, as an English teacher, here, would like to specialize in preparing students for this important test, iTTi has a 50-hour online program teaching IELTS preparation, which we in Armenia are going to provide not only online, but offline as well. So this is the perfect specialization course for you, because teaching test preparation is a rewarding field, I would say. If you've ever thought, I'd really like to teach IELTS confidently, or I'd like to add IELTS preparation to my teaching services, that's exactly what we designed this program for. So in this program, we cover usually comprehensive methodology for IELTS. We, of course, go through common mistakes of all 4 skills, and also the strategies to teach all 4 skills. We analyze band descriptors, as I told you, teaching resources we have, and we provide and we modify and update the resources with our teachers and students. Also, we have classroom practice and, of course, certification at the end. You might have some materials to copy and use during your classes. You will also learn how to plan individual lessons and how to teach test-taking skills before the lesson, on the before the test, on the test day. All right. So as for the final takeaways, I would like to go to the slide. Okay. So I would like to leave you today remembering 3 things. First of all, right? So first, IELTS teaching is different from teaching English. So you remember, this is not the same thing. Second, student success depends on methodology, not just materials that we provide them. And finally, a confident IELTS teacher doesn't simply prepare students for an exam. They help, change students' futures, because this is their university studies. This might be their future career. So for me, as an IELTS teacher, I would always think this is their future. So I will help them understand the IELTS by themselves, with my help, but mostly by themselves. This is what I wanted just to leave you with at the end of this webinar. So I'm curious right now, what part of IELTS teaching feels most challenging for you? You can type which one is most challenging. Maybe teaching vocabulary, maybe teaching listening, reading, writing, or speaking. You can now share your ideas with everybody. Writing, Ani says writing. Yes, listening. Okay, writing. Listening skill. Okay, writing. So for writing, you now know something, some maybe little thing during our webinar. Do you think it would be useful to follow the steps of teaching writing this way? Because you wrote writing, some of you wrote writing is the most challenging. Would you share some opinions? Or you can speak up. You can speak up about writing, because we talked a little bit about that skill. Did you do the same way, Tamara? Did you do the same way, following the strategies, following some steps to prepare your students for writing? Or did you do differently, maybe?